And welcome back to Flurry Sports. This is our Wednesday night show, the Fantasy Football Ranking Show, the show where we look at the rankings on flurrysports.org, my rankings, and we compare them to the rest of the Fantasy Pros expert consensus to see who we are higher and lower on. This week is just Luke and myself. And if you tune into Lombardi Sweep afterwards, which is our Green Bay Packers show, it'll also just be Luke and myself. So hang out. Ask questions, subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, hit the bell so you are notified. But before we jump into the fantasy rankings, Luke, I told you I was going to try something. So, I got this.
Oh, shit. I was actually a Quick Trip and I was going to grab one and I didn't. I should have.
Yeah, apologies to Trevor, who's not here to enjoy this monumental time on the show.
I totally forgot that we talked about that.
Yeah, I did too
open.
until I saw it. It is good. It is good open, actually. Yeah,
can opening is pretty good.
I like the tall can.
Yep.
In anything. So.
Yep.
Okay. For the people who weren't on last week, I think it was last week.
Yes.
Maybe 2 weeks ago. I'm not sure. I said I don't like Arizona sweet tea. Yeah, that's true.
No.
Maybe it's 2 weeks ago. But I said I don't like the Arizona sweet tea. Luke and I think Trevor both love it. So I'm giving it another shot. I can already smell it. Ugh, I don't think I like it, but okay. It's so sweet.
Pretty good.
It's actually not bad. I remember really hating it.
Right. That's what I thought too. And then I got a can like a year ago. And like, why did I ever stop drinking this?
Did they change it or something? I don't know. This is not bad.
Pretty damn good.
Okay. Anticlimactic, I guess. I wish it was a beer. I got whiskey right here. I could drink that. But it's Arizona sweet tea. I said I didn't like it, so I opened it, tried it. Not bad. You know?
It's pretty
I think
good.
I'd like it more with lemon.
Oh, I mean, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, not a beer, unfortunately.
Cold tea is good. Not hot tea.
Yes. I like specific hot tea.
Like
iced tea overall is better though. Yeah, ayahuasca. I like that on ice actually. I like to sip my ayahuasca.
But really though, if we're breaking it all down, like I don't know, if you're ranking drinks, what's better than iced tea and lemonade?
Yeah, man. And for the people who don't rank that near the top, every time you have it, it hits perfectly.
Yeah, always. But I feel like, do you think that is because, like, maybe it's just me, but I don't drink that a lot. Like, whenever I drink an Arnold Palmer, I absolutely love it. And I always say, why don't I drink this more? And I just never do.
Have you ever made an Arnold Palmer yourself, like actually mixed tea and lemonade?
Yes.
I was going to say, I haven't. And I don't know why.
Mine wasn't good.
Maybe not. Maybe there's you need to have the touch. You need to know the right mix. I'm not sure. But I haven't done that at all.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. Put a shot of
that's next week's show.
Too.
Yeah. Spiked Arnold Palmer for sure. I actually have had that like a week ago. So fair enough.
Great.
It hit. Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
And I think it was because I had it at a distillery, so I don't even think it was regular tea. I think it was tea vodka or tea flavored vodka, lemon flavored vodka. I think it was just that. Maybe on ice. I'm not sure.
Great.
It was good.
Let me ask you this before we start here. Just me and you. It'll be quick. But what when you're at a wedding, you're at the bar. You can get a drink. What drink are you going for?
This last one, it was old fashions or just straight whiskey.
Okay.
Otherwise, I feel like I usually do like a whiskey sour if it's possible.
Yeah. Okay. I see where your head's at.
Or like something light and fruity, maybe a vodka Red Bull too. That's fine too.
I mean, I got absolutely turned on last year to vodka cranberry with a lime at weddings, and those are just incredible.
They are very good. Very good. I'm a little bit afraid for our Detroit trip coming up. I don't know what we're going to get into. Randy wants to know before we jump into this, what was for dinner? I haven't had dinner yet, so I'm not sure.
I haven't had dinner in 2 days.
See if we can make it 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know what's gonna be for dinner. I have no plans. I have leftover Chinese food. Maybe that.
Ooh. I have like a 2-minute walk to Quick Trip, so I'm sure that'll be dinner.
There you go. Get yourself a sweet tea.
Mm-hmm.
Let's jump into the quarterback rankings here. Again, it's just me and Luke. So hang out, ask questions if you have any. Otherwise, we're just going to be talking about these rankings and comparing them to the rest of the industry consensus. Get pork chops. Do you put applesauce in your pork chops?
I don't, but I have, and it's good.
It is good.
Yep.
Also good is Josh Allen, who I have at number 1 at the Ravens. Jalen Hurts 2 versus the Jaguars. Lamar Jackson 3 versus the Bills. And then I have Mahomes 4 at the Bucks. Joe Burrow 5 versus the Dolphins. What do you think of those 5?
So I think the obvious jump in rankings. Excuse me, I'm gonna sneeze. Okay, never mind. The obvious jump in rankings is Joe Burrow, right? Because we saw him come start the year kind of, not what we saw last year. Maybe that Jets game last week was kind of a tune-up game for him and kind of get the offense back into the swing. Who knows what's going on with T. Higgins? 2 concussions in 3 weeks is tough. I think I love the matchup this week for him. I mean, this feels like a Jamar Chase game. This feels like, maybe a Jamar Chase 100 yards, 125 yards, and then a Joe Mixon, two rushing touchdown game. Or it almost feels like another Joe Burrow. It's just fucking four touchdowns. I like the Bengals a lot in this game. That's why I like Joe Burrow.
Yeah, I wrote about this somewhere already for this week. The Dolphins' pass rush hasn't been very good.
Mm-mm.
So if we're assuming Joe Burrow doesn't get taken down 6 times, like we saw last week, he was pretty much upright the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
I like the Bengals to win. I like Joe Burrow in this game. I like the receivers, like you said. The only person I'm not sure if I like is Joe Mixon. Like, he's been bad this year. Yeah. So, but aside from that, like, the rest of the receivers should be good. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's what we're starting to see what we expect out of the Bengals offense. I think is what we're going to culminate to be here next couple of weeks.
I think so. I'm still not like super high on them as a team. I'm just also not high on the Dolphins as being like this amazing team. Other quarterbacks. I currently have Tua at 8. We'll see what that injury means for tomorrow night. I'm kind of all in on Trevor Lawrence at this point. I'm a little hesitant about this week still, but I really like what I've seen from him so far.
Yeah. I mean, I think I talk about it every week is Doug Peterson's there. He's turning Trevor Lawrence into a pro quarterback.
Mm-hmm. Zach Wilson's back. I have him at 27. Brian Hoyer, I'm assuming he is the starter. I have him at 30. So I don't really like either of those guys. Mm-mm. If you're going after one, I guess it would be Zach Wilson. He plays the Steelers, so a little bit nervous there. But, Steelers defense hasn't been very good without TJ Watt either.
Yeah. Steelers haven't been very good in general without TJ Watt.
No. They always flash the record without him or whatever. I think they've won like 1 or 2 games without him. It's been bad.
Yeah. So let me throw a quarterback at you here. And we'll talk about him, when very sweet. But is Aaron Rodgers an interesting play this week? We know that Belichick's a big takeaway, your best option defense. And I mean, I would guess that would be Aaron Jones. So is there any stock in Rodgers throwing for 300 yards or something this week?
I peeked at where I rank in accordance to the other or the rest of the industry, and I'm for sure higher on Aaron Rodgers for partially that reason, but also because the best unit on the Patriots' entire team is their defensive line.
Yeah.
Like, it wouldn't surprise me if the Packers really struggle to run the ball, regardless if they put an emphasis on stopping the run or not. So I think it's going to be a lot of those quick hitters, essentially extending, it's essentially an extended handoff, to like Aaron Jones split out or to Randall Cobb. We've seen him do that with a bunch of screens. Like, I could see them doing a lot of that. And the Patriots really, I mean, they lost 2 of their starting cornerbacks before the season started. Like, they're not that good in the secondary.
Yep.
But yeah, I have him at 9. And I can jump right away then. That's a good segue to the consensus. And I'll answer Twan Roberts' question right after this. But I have Aaron Rodgers at 9, which is 4 spots higher than the consensus. I have Jared Goff at 10, which is 4 spots higher than the consensus. Cooper Rush at 24, which is 5 spots higher. Zach Wilson at 27, which is 4 higher. And then I just ranked Andy Dalton. I have him at 33 right now. Obviously, looking at Jameis Winston, other people didn't seem to rank him. And then I have Russell Wilson at 16, which is 6 spots lower. The consensus still has him as a top 10 guy for some reason. Yeah, and then, and obviously you and I are both Russell Wilson, at least dislikers. So I think we're probably a little biased anyways. But yeah, he's been bad. Mm-hmm. And then Ryan Tannehill I have at 31, which it's too low. I don't know why I did that. But that's 9 spots lower than the consensus. Consensus has him at 22. I'm gonna find a happy medium, I think.
Talking football. Yeah. When does Malik Willis play?
Man, I don't know. The issue. I don't even think Tannehill's that much of the issue is the problem.
Right.
Like, I don't think the offensive line's that good. And Derrick Henry, maybe he's a great running back. Maybe he's an average running back. That's kind of where I'm at. I don't think he's that unbelievable, but the truth of the matter is, regardless, he can't do everything himself.
Right.
He's not this Le'Veon Bell shifty sort of guy who can wait and find a hole. Like, he needs to hit the hole, and he needs 5 yards of room to get started.
Yeah, and he's taking hits too with how big and how low everyone goes at him always.
Yeah, the offensive line right now is just not doing its job. Obviously, Taylor Lewan out does not help things.
Not at all.
What's up, Kyle? And let's just jump into this question first. Twan Robert, should I accept Russell Wilson, Michael Carter, Alec Pierce for Kyler Murray? If you're giving up Kyler, no.
Yeah, no. If you're getting Kyler, yes. Giving him up, no.
Yeah, I don't want Russell Wilson. Michael Carter is only going to lose carries throughout the season. And I like Alec Pierce, but you're not trading for him to play him at this point.
Yep.
Randy wants to know, how long do we think Mac Jones is out for? That looked bad.
Big time.
Like I it's not a 4-week injury, but I think it's fair to say he might be out 2 weeks. I don't know what their schedule is. They play the Packers this week. Then,
how much has New England's offense changed with Mac Jones out?
Not much.
Like, not at all.
Yeah, like, not the offense doesn't change, and also the value of the receivers doesn't change.
Right. I mean, I feel like
their schedule's weird, man. Listen to these games. This is an odd schedule. They have the Packers this week, then the Lions, the Browns, the Bears, the Jets, the Colts, then a bye. Not one divisional game. Oh, the Jets. But
I was just going to say, those are teams you would never hear New England play against.
Yeah, and then they come off their bye to play the Jets, Vikings. And then they have to run the gauntlet at the end of the year.
Maybe NFL thought that was going to be a fun division.
Yeah, yeah. Weird. Okay. Oh, we didn't answer the question. I think he's going to be back, I think 2 weeks. Or miss 2 games. I think he would probably come back against the Browns in week 6.
Yep, I agree.
Got to. Can't let Jacoby Brissett look too good. Bill needs to show off Mac Jones. No. It's going to be big.
Mm-hmm.
Alex asks, trade Dallas Goedert and Isaiah McKenzie for T. Higgins. Other receivers are Debo and Devontae Smith. Tight end David Njoku.
So I brought up T. Higgins before with 2 concussions in 3 weeks. Does that worry you at all? Like, is he not going to play anymore if he gets another one or anything like that? Do you take that into account when looking at this trade?
Is he? I don't think he's even out this week is the issue.
Right.
Yeah, he didn't get concussed. It just says it's a concussion scare.
Gotcha.
I'm not sure how you have a concussion 1 week and then a concussion scare literally the next week. I would think they're combined. It scares me, of course, just because it happens so damn early in the year. Yeah. And they play in a physical division, obviously.
Cold division, too.
Yeah.
I would say do it.
You would go for T. Higgins? You want T. Higgins?
I would trade those two for T. Higgins.
I just don't think I trust David Njoku. Like, I would want to keep Dallas Goedert. That's where I'm at. I wouldn't do it. So I like T. Higgins, but...
You'd rather have Debo, Devontae, and Goddard than Debo, Devontae, and Higgins.
And I would...
Interesting.
I would rather do that. I would also try to do Devontae Smith off that big game and David Njoku off that big game and get a receiver. Like, upgrade your receiver that way.
Yeah, I like that better.
If you can.
Instead of upgrading your receiver this way.
Mm-hmm. Like Mark. That. A lot of just first names.
Love it.
Trade Tua, Zeke, Devontae Smith for Dak Prescott, Rashad Bateman, Derrick Henry. Yeah, do it.
Yeah, I don't think you want Zeke. And I don't think you want Devontae Smith either.
And if Tua, they're saying it's good news. Tua doesn't have a concussion. It's just a back injury. Why is a back injury better?
Right.
That scares me more, I think. So yeah. And Dak should be back within a couple weeks, and I think he'll be good. Okay. Rate this team, 12-team PPR, Jalen Hurts with a Z. Leonard Fournette, Alexander Madison, Justin Jefferson, Keenan Allen, Amon-Ra, Devontae Smith, Zach Ertz, and Dalton Schultz.
It's obvious you need to upgrade RB2.
Right. Yeah. For that reason, for this week, it's definitely good because Dalvin Cook should probably lose snaps.
He probably laid out his starters.
Oh, yeah, week. Probably. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
Definitely watch the injury report for Dalton Schultz because that knee injury, I'm pretty sure it was a knee. Like, that's not nothing. Like, he was really pushing to play last week, but I think he was further away than news reports made it seem.
Yep.
Kyle. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Just talking about the other question. I'm not sure how much I like Tyler Conklin, by the way. You bring up Tyler Conklin. There's been no sign that Zach Wilson likes to throw to tight ends. That's a Joe Flacco thing. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, Joe Flacco is dead. So now...
Which sucks because Corey Davis is never going to get another pass again.
No. And by the way, I was going to bring it up at wide receiver. Trade for Elijah Moore. I think Elijah Moore is about to pop off.
I agree.
Yeah. Hopefully they keep throwing to Garrett Wilson. We shall see. Alex wants Zay Jones. The guy said Isaiah McKenzie and Zay Jones for T. Higgins. We wouldn't do the first trade, so obviously we wouldn't throw it in another player.
Yeah. Also, I don't think Zay Jones, I don't think will get the touchdowns in Jacksonville.
No. It's cool to see him involved. I don't really trust him, though.
Yep.
Peter G. Jr.
If Zay Jones was on Jacksonville for the next 3 years and he was just, churning out 75 yards each week, I don't trust him.
Yeah, I don't either. Yeah. There's nothing about him I trust. I don't trust him to perform, and I also don't trust his role. I don't trust the Jaguars. I don't think that's real. Mm-mm. I think they're good, but I don't think they're going to be good.
Right. I don't disagree.
Yeah. Javonte Williams, for Devin Duvernay and Miles Sanders.
I have to look up Javonte Williams. How is he doing? I don't have him in any league.
The Broncos haven't scored touchdowns, and he hasn't been in the end zone. I'm not even sure if he has one touchdown. Not that great. It's an obvious split, like we said it was going to be in the preseason. He is kind of in that RB2 territory perpetually. Finishes in half PPR have been RB16, RB22, RB33.
So not what not the third round pick that everyone thought he was going to be immediately yet.
No. I would want, however, I would still want the Javonte Williams side of this trade.
Yeah, I agree.
Do I trade Cordell Patterson and James Conner for Jonathan Taylor? Every time I want to say Justin Timberlake. My other RBs are Dobbins and McKissick. No, wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
I love Cordell Patterson.
Yep.
I'm sick of people treating him like he's nothing. He's
an
been
NFL player, man.
Two out of the 3 weeks he's been RB4.
Great. He's a good player too. Like, he's not just some trick player. He's a good football player.
We do our guarantee, our pick at Prize Picks at the end of every show. I looked ahead this time. Spoiler alert, mine's a Cordell Patterson one. And
I think I've won under my belt this year already.
Yeah, I'll say it at the top right now. And we'll get to it again at the end. His rushing yard prop is at 43.5 yards.
Yeah.
His worst game this year, he ran for 41. And the other 2 games, he ran for over 100.
Yep.
Why do we hate Cordell Patterson?
I don't know. I've been doing very well in a lot of leagues with him this year.
Like last year and probably next year.
Yep.
Drop Jahan Dotson to pick up Juju. That's interesting.
I think yes. Because I still think that Juju has to be involved in this offense.
Yeah, I like it. I like it even more in PPR. I think Jahan Dotson's touchdowns, obviously the first couple of weeks are a little bit fluky, and without those touchdowns, I think we think a lot less of him.
Yeah. I also think when Brian Robinson gets back, he's going to be like the shiny toy rookie that they're going to want to use and experiment with.
I think so, too. On that same note, trade away Antonio Gibson if you can. Getting close to wanting to trade Mixon. I think you have a good feeling. You should be frustrated. I wouldn't sell him now.
Yeah, now's not the time to sell him.
Yeah, unless he goes off on Thursday night and you think you can sell him high. Like, now that was his breakout game, he's going to keep going, then sure. But you don't sell him for pennies right now.
Yeah.
Because the only direction to go is up. He's not going to be worse than right now. Okay. Squids, Giant showed. What it do, baby? Start 2, full PPR. Rashad Bateman, Olave, Elijah Moore. Needed W. I think I'd go Bateman and Elijah Moore.
Yeah. Talk me out of Chris Olave.
I mean, first off, we don't know who the quarterback's going to be. We hope it's Jameis Winston. Otherwise, it's Andy Dalton. Not like that's a downgrade. But in my mind, I know he just came off a good receiving week. Let me look to see what he's done the other weeks. Oh, by the way, I have Chris Olave ranked 1 ahead of Rashad Bateman. So maybe I'm sitting Bateman. Yeah, my rank. Okay. I'll get to that in a second. He's gone for 41, 80, and 147 for yards. Targets have been 3, 13, 13.
Yeah.
I like him, but
I think, if Jameis plays, I think I like Olave better than Bateman.
Yeah.
I mean, those 13 targets are very intriguing. And
they are games, really, And he plays Minnesota. Obviously, their secondary is not very good. If you just need safe points, by the way, sit Elijah Moore. If you just need safe points. I just think he breaks out this week, but that's probably me getting greedy with my predictions. So if you need safe points, for sure, just sit Elijah Moore. Otherwise, man, I mean, maybe you do sit Bateman just because maybe the Bills will just take him away and they assume that nothing else can hurt him other than Lamar.
Yeah, I think the Ravens win that game, by the way.
Me too. I mean, we are both very high on Lamar and the Ravens. I have a lot of money invested in that.
the Bills being down 2 safeties hurts. I don't know if Jordan Poyer is going to be
Everybody,
out, but him, I mean, just being injured and Micah Hyde being
Yeah.
out, that hurts against a Mark Andrews, Rashad Bateman offense.
Very much so. Very much so. Untamed music. Which side do you want, Justin Jefferson or Damien Pierce and Deontay Johnson?
Justin Jefferson.
Yeah. Yeah. Unless Damien Pierce is your RB2. Would be your RB2 rather. Yeah.
Justin Jefferson, I know he had a shitty game. But I think he's almost getting to that territory where he's damn near untradeable. And maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe it's just my excitement for him, but I think it's getting to that level.
Well, I mean, I think he's one of the best receivers in football. But then we also have to remember his schedule, like the division he plays in, which I think is a pro. I think it's a pro. Like, I would love to go up against the Packers. Like, that's the hardest one, then the Bears and the Lions. Down the stretch of the season, depending on when your playoffs are, but here's week 13 on for Justin Jefferson. The Jets, the Lions, the Colts, the Giants, the Packers. Yeah. Nothing scares you.
Yep. That's 5 straight 100-yard games.
Probably, yeah. At least. Richie Laura, I'm trying to trade for a low-end wide receiver 1 and 2. I want Cortland Sutton and someone similar to him. A consistent 15 to 20 points per week. It's a little greedy. Anyone you think is similar out there with consistency and points per game? Like, okay, I'm just trying to digest the question, I guess. So you're trying to trade for a low end.
Someone who scores as much as Cortland Sutton.
Yeah, so if you can't get Cortland Sutton, you could target those guys. I guess T. Higgins. I guess.
Would you throw Mike Williams?
CeeDee Lamb. Mike Williams. I wouldn't go for him, but he's certainly in that category.
Yeah.
Christian Kirk.
Yeah. I think out of all the ones you named, I'd want probably CeeDee Lamb the most.
Agreed. Yeah. Michael Pittman Jr. is also in that area. Yeah. One of them. Rendon just traded Eckler for Dalvin Cook. What's your thoughts on that?
It feels like you just traded a baseball cap for a baseball cap. I mean, Austin Eckler and Dalvin Cook feel like the same player to me.
Yes, except for one is already hurt.
Yeah, and the other will be hurt in minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, but he's not currently, so
that's a tiebreaker.
Yeah, so I'd rather have Austin Eckler. But yeah, I don't really feel better about one over the other long term.
No. That feels like you just swapped a 3rd and 4th overall pick.
Yeah, pretty much. Bronson, never seen it spelled that way. That's kind of cool. Should I trade Jeff Wilson, Gabe Davis, and Duvernay for DK and Zeke? Ooh, I'm not the person to ask. I hate DK and Zeke. Like, really bad. So,
well, I mean, I think there's value of Zeke when Dak Prescott comes back. I mean, he's not Zeke of what we saw 3-4 years ago. I also think that DK Metcalf is like the ultimate. It's the gamble in fantasy football. You're either getting 0 points or you're getting 15 points. So if you're in a position where you absolutely have to win games, I would say no to this trade because Zeke won't be. I mean, Zeke is not going to do anything until Dak Prescott gets back, and DK Metcalf, you're risking a lot there. I also like Duvernay's spot in the off. I mean, no, I like the first part better.
Yeah, like the only player that I want to play and start out of all the players listed is Gabriel Davis. So I want that side. Like, I don't want Zeke. I don't want DK. DK is the biggest loser of all time, by the way. He's the worst football player I've ever seen. Everything he touched turns to shit. He races. He gets all this notoriety about a race. He finishes last, was in a celebrity softball game and struck out. The dude sucks at everything he does.
You keep saying that he's the worst football player to ever exist.
Worst.
But,
worst athlete. Excuse me.
It's hard to beat Jason Spriggs, man.
Fair enough. I was so high at Jason Spriggs. I'm like, hey, he could turn into something.
Dude was just dog shit horrible.
Oh, man. I don't even... Like, with somebody like that, I can't even point to something that went wrong. It was just everything.
No.
Kyle, ask here. I'm curious to hear your thoughts about a recent dynasty trade. 10-team, 1 QB PPR, Chase Edmonds for David Bell and a second. That's actually super interesting. I like your side of the trade. I would rather have David Bell in a second.
Yeah, I think so, right? Because
especially because the upcoming class is really RB heavy, and I think you can get a better running back than Chase Edmonds.
Yeah, I also don't see Chase Edmonds sticking in Miami long, and actually, I think I like Chase Edmonds. I think he's a good player, but I mean, I don't know who signs him and features him after a stint in Miami.
Yeah, it does seem like the place RBs go to die.
Mm-hmm.
Should I trade Alvin Kamara and Mark Andrews for Leonard Fournette, Deebo Samuel, and Pat Freiermuth? Wow. Yeah, I think I would.
Yeah, sure.
Mark Andrews is the best player in the trade, probably, but I think I'm okay getting rid of him if I can also get rid of Alvin Kamara.
Right, so you're out on Alvin Kamara, or are you just out for now?
I'm out on him. FlurrySports.org just wrote an article today about buying low on him, so I think I might be in the minority, but that offensive line doesn't impress me.
Yeah.
He doesn't impress me. Like, I'm done with him.
Yeah. Yep. I don't disagree.
I also think you can buy low on him, but I don't think he's Alvin Kamara anymore. If that makes sense.
He's not the 6 touchdown scorer on Christmas guy anymore.
No, I don't think he should be viewed as an RB1.
Okay. Which is going to be tough if you're looking to trade for him, because everyone will view him as an RB1.
Right. Baby Santa.
Oof.
My favorite form of Santa. Would you guys trade away Kyle Pitts and Rashad Bateman for Mike Evans, Breece Hall / Juju?
Yeah. Yes, I would.
I think so. I think so too. Assuming, I guess, I don't love Kyle Pitts anyways.
No.
It doesn't really matter who your tight end is.
Yeah, and I don't think it matters if you get Breece Hall or Juju back. I think either one is good.
Yeah, I assume, since you're getting Mike Evans, I assume you probably could use Breece Hall more than Juju, but, depends on your team. I like either. Like the question, should I do Miles Sanders and Travis Kelsey for George Kittle, James Conner? I'd rather have Kelsey.
Kelsey is the obvious one out of the 4, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Sanders has been fine.
Yeah. I hope you're playing Sanders as a flex, but
Right. But at this point, do you have much more confidence in James Conner?
No, I mean the obvious confidence is in James Conner scoring the touchdowns over Miles Sanders, but can Miles Sanders make that up in yards? Probably.
Right, and honestly, Miles Sanders might have more touchdowns than Conner.
Yeah, right.
I think Sanders has 1, and I think that's Conner 1 more than Conner so far. Oh, okay, so it's a wash. Baby Santa has the Ertz and Kyler stack. Bronson trade Kamara for Deebo. Yeah, I'd rather have Deebo than Kamara.
Yes.
Yeezus.
Is Deebo a buy low candidate right now?
Probably, yeah.
Because why would San Francisco change their offense at all from last year?
Right. Right. And especially now, like Trent Williams is out for multiple weeks. I think the running game kind of takes a hit. So I think the short passing game probably goes up. And I think Deebo can do a lot of work there.
Yeah, I think they got to get a little creative in their offense.
Yeah. Creative in a good way, hopefully.
Right.
Shanahan could go either direction.
Shanahan should not have a head coaching job. He should be like a quarterback's coach.
I agree. Also, I didn't read this question, I don't think. Oh, yes, I did.
Yep.
Congratulations, Jesus. Richie.
We got Conor in the chat?
I know. Jesus walks. I'm trying to trade A.J. Dillon, Josh Jacobs, and A-Rob for a receiver. Good thought. I offered them for Sutton and Ertz, but it probably won't go through. Yeah, that's an interesting trade, I suppose.
Wait. Time out a second. Yeezus asks the same question as Corduroy's.
Oh, is that what happened? Awesome.
Yeah. Sorry, that really confused me.
Kanye has a burner and he got mixed up.
Okay. All right. Sorry.
But yeah, for this one, I guess. I think that's honestly a fair trade. So if you want to do that, then go for it.
I would imagine you'd be hurt at running back, right?
You would think, yeah, if you're trading 2.
But if you're trading, then you probably need a receiver if you're trading 2 running backs. Oh, shit.
Yeah. I'm assuming they're trading their RB3 and 4 to upgrade their wide receiver 2.
Yep. If that's the case, I love this trade.
Yeah. And if it doesn't go through, I think, assuming if it's not the same owner, I would try to trade that package to the Aaron Jones owner and really sell that having the Green Bay backfield if one of them gets hurt.
Yep.
That's the GOAT. Rate my 12-man team: Russell Wilson, Najee Harris, Saquon Barkley, Courtland Sutton, Marquise Brown, Tyler Conklin, Dawson Knox, Zeke Bateman, Gabe Davis, Khalil Herbert, MVS.
So this is actually a team that you could draft and it makes sense drafting.
Yeah, 100%.
The top 6 players in fantasy football on one team together. And rate my team. No. I wonder.
I think it's a solid team. First off, I would try to trade Tyler Conklin and maybe something to upgrade tight end. And I would also be looking to trade Marquise Brown.
Okay. Do you think
because Rondale Moore is coming back soon, DeAndre Hopkins is also coming back within a couple of weeks, so I think Marquise Brown's stock's at an all-time high.
Yeah. So you think you could get more if you package, like if you're trying to upgrade your tight end, if you package Marquise Brown and Tyler Conklin, then like Zeke and Tyler Conklin?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I'd be fine doing Marquise Brown, Tyler Conklin for a tight end because I really like Gabe Davis and Bateman, who are on your bench, assumingly here.
Yep.
Over Marquise Brown. So, yeah.
Oh, he's starting Zeke Bateman or Gabe Davis at flex.
Okay. I'd also just start looking to acquire maybe that RB2 if Saquon Barkley goes down. Because I don't necessarily trust Zeke. But I don't think you need to rush to make any extreme moves to do that.
Yeah, I think honestly, I think that's a fine team as it is.
Agreed. Swift or Mixon PPR rest of season. That's super interesting if Swift misses a few weeks here.
I think Jamal Williams has looked good.
Yeah. Always.
So even when Swift comes back, I think Jamal Williams, he snaps.
Yeah, but I mean, Swift is still playing really well regardless.
I think I like Mixon. Just for injuries alone.
Yeah, I mean, if the question just is who's going to finish higher, who has the more total points from this point on for the rest of the season, I think it's Mixon. But I think Swift is better on a points per game basis. So for me, I'd rather own Swift because when he's out, at least he's out. When Mixon plays, he's been bad anyway. And he also could get hurt. So I'd rather own Swift. I think total points-wise, Mixon outscores him, though. I look like Hagrid's buff son. That's very nice, I think. The nicest thing anyone's ever said to me. Marquise and Gabe Davis for Jalen Waddle. What do you think of that trade?
I love it.
Me too. Finn Strom. Mike Evans or Devontae Smith PPR with Hurts at quarterback.
Mike Evans.
Yeah, Mike Evans higher this week. Get to that in a second. Then after this, we're going to quickly go through running backs and wide receivers. Richie Laura, his RBs are Jonathan Taylor, Saquon Barkley, and Fournette. Dylan and Jacobs are on his bench. Then, yeah, I like doing that trade then.
Yep.
Sutton be your wide receiver 1. Okay.
I don't hate Sutton being his wide receiver 1 if he has JT, Saquon, and Fournette running.
Well, it doesn't matter if it's his wide receiver 1 or 2. That just means his wide receiver position is super weak, and he definitely needs to update it or upgrade it.
Yep.
Vals, should he do the trade? I got offered Jeff Wilson Pittman for Najee.
I don't like that trade.
No, me neither.
I think Jeff Wilson is not a very good football player.
I agree. I don't think Kyle Shanahan knows that, though.
Yeah. I think he'll figure it out.
Yeah, for that reason, I do think Marlon Mack is super interesting, though.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, speaking of Marlon Mack, I don't think I have him ranked this week, but here we go. Running backs, RB1 in half PPR. I had the wrong rankings up. Okay, RB1 half PPR, Jonathan Taylor versus the Titans, Christian McCaffrey 2 versus the Cardinals, Nick Chubb 3 at the Falcons, Saquon Barkley 4 versus the Bears, and reluctantly at the moment, Austin Eckler 5 at the Texans. What do you think of those 5 guys?
So I was way off on my Jonathan Taylor having the greatest fantasy performance of all time last week, which it made sense that he didn't have the greatest fantasy performance of all time, but it didn't make sense that he didn't have a Jonathan Taylor game. Also, Jonathan Taylor, Christian McCaffrey, both out of practice today. Does that scare you at all?
Yeah. I think McCaffrey more than Taylor. I think Taylor's fine.
Okay. And I mean, I like the top 5. Like Nick Chubb just keeps doing what Nick Chubb does and being the best running back in the NFL. I know it sucks that he has a split with Kareem Hunt, but both of them get theirs every single week. So I don't even think that Nick Chubb Kareem Hunt thing is a worry anymore.
It's definitely not a worry, but there's also so many times where they're so explicitly putting Kareem Hunt in the game where it's like, we said we'd play him more if he stopped demanding a trade, so we have to have him in. And he keeps getting like hit at the line of scrimmage and falling down.
Right.
Like if Nick Chubb was in there, that'd be a touchdown. Which exactly happened last game. I think they gave it to him 3 times on the goal line, didn't work, put Nick Chubb in, and he did like that jump into the end zone.
Yeah. Why doesn't that happen more?
The jump?
Yeah. It's so
I don't know.
That happens.
It always looks great. I guess there's enough fumbles that happen, but just hold the ball.
Yeah. He's strong.
So easy. Yeah, come on. Other notable players here. I currently have Jamal Williams at 10, Cordell Patterson at 11. That made me feel so good to rank. Javonte Williams right behind him. I have Damien Pierce at 15. Yeah. So comparing this to the consensus, then I'm 4 spots higher on Damien Pierce at 15, 4 higher on Damien Harris at 29, 6 higher on Eno Benjamin at 47, Dontrell Hilliard at 48, and James Cook at 51. And I'm 14 spots higher on Kyle Juszczyk at 53. Give him a little respect.
I hate Kyle Juszczyk, by the way.
Why?
Because he's always like everyone's safety blanket in Madden that I always don't worry about and have everything else locked down, and Kyle Juszczyk plows for a 15-yard gain.
Absolutely. What a stud. I'm 4 spots lower on Aaron Jones at 14 and Devin Singletary at 33. 5 lower on Tyler Algier at 55. And we're at this point in the fantasy season now. I'm 11 spots lower on Rex Burkhead at 56. They don't want to give him the ball at all anymore.
This came 8 weeks too early.
And I can't wait until week 6 where he's a must start.
Right.
Like,
I want to talk about Damien Harris. Like, do you think that he gets like disrespected every single week?
Yeah, I think from even his own team. I think he's a really good player. Let me just look at his finishes here. So he's gone 42. He's finished RB 42, RB 5, then RB 21. Like, I think he's a solid flex or low end RB2 play.
Yeah, I agree. And you saying that you're 6 spots higher on him? Like, I thought your ranking was perfect for him. Maybe that's just me.
Yeah, I don't have very high. But, well, I have RB 29. That means consensus has him at 35 behind people. Well, for sure behind like Ramondre Stevenson on his own team. Yeah, behind Devin Singletary. Like the consensus has him how much higher or lower than Singletary at 29 and him at so like 5 spots lower than Devin Singletary, which makes no sense.
Right. Like he's 9 carries, not great. 15 is whatever. 11, not great. But it feels like all 11 of his carries come at the 1 yard line.
For sure. And again, we talked about a second ago what changes with Brian Hoyer instead of Mac Jones. Like the offense shouldn't be worse, but they may hand it off to Damien Harris more.
Yeah.
Like I think they'll be just as effective, but I could see Harris getting more carries at the beginning of the game to settle Hoyer down a little bit.
Yeah.
But Hoyer's also been in the league since I think 98. So I think he's been there, done that.
Has Brady ever had another backup instead of Brian Hoyer?
I think it was just Brian Hoyer and a Jimmy Garoppolo mask for a little bit.
Right.
Richie's
shout out Jimmy Garoppolo. I think he's number 2 on the active players for most Super Bowls. It's a good career.
That's wild. That's crazy. Yeah, congrats to him. He looked great on Monday night or Sunday night, whenever that was. Sunday.
To fucking 10. The fuck was that game?
Thank God Jimmy's back. Trey Lance is so bad, guys. So bad. Okay, so those are Richie's receivers. Pretty good receivers. Adam Weber, should I trade Justin Jefferson, Saquon Barkley for Josh Allen, I'm guessing?
I would say no.
No. Yeah, absolutely not. Absolutely not. That's a lot. That's a lot to give up.
Yeah, it's your first 2 picks to give up for Josh Allen. Fuck no.
Yeah, absolutely not. Anton says, I got Russell Wilson, CMC, Damien Harris, Waddle, Lamb, Andrews, London, bench, Godwin, Carter, Dobbins, Dubs, Ken Walker, Jameson Williams, Rashad White, Nelson Aguilar. Anywhere I should upgrade? Well,
I can't say, and this goes back to our Hard Knocks show. I can't say I've watched, really detailed many Lions games, but do we have an update on Jameson Williams?
No, man. I don't know if he's alive. I have no idea.
I haven't heard anything.
The last I heard and seen of him is when he was frowning at like the rookie media day for the Lions. And then he's never been seen again. Not even during Hard Knocks. I hope he's fine. Hope you're well. Anywhere he should upgrade. I mean, first off,
quarterback.
Yeah, get Russell Wilson out of there. Let him ride it off into the sunset.
RB2.
Otherwise.
Oh wait, no, I see his bench. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I like having Dobbins there. I could easily see him vault into the starters there. I like your team, man.
Yeah, I actually do too.
Anywhere I should upgrade? Is there anyone he could sell high on right now?
Maybe a Drake London?
Maybe Drake London, maybe Jalen Waddle, but I like both of them going forward too. So
yeah, and I think like if you wanted, like now is the time to trade Michael Carter, right? We just talked about that.
Yeah. I guess if you can do that, I think Michael Carter continues to have a role, but I think Breece Hall should be the majority snap share leader there.
Yeah.
So if you can package him with Russell Wilson and upgrade that quarterback, maybe that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Richie says it sucks because everyone's so low on Dylan Jacobs and A-Rob. Yeah, I mean, including you. That's why you're trying to sell him,
right?
I think. See, here's the issue. Like when I say I don't think you need to feel worried about some of these guys, it's just because they're performing exactly where we predicted. Like everyone was hyping up AJ Dillon a ton, and us as like Packers people were like, pump the brakes. Like he's for sure gonna have a role, and he's a great handcuff. But Aaron Jones is the dude.
Could you ever imagine like AJ Dillon having 3 straight 100-yard and a touchdown games?
No, never
once.
Never. Not even without Aaron Jones. Like that's not gonna happen.
Right.
Josh Jacobs again. I think he's fine. And then A-Rob, I think he's fine too. I think that's just going to be an inconsistent offense.
Yeah, my whole thing with Josh Jacobs is he really made his money these last couple of years getting those goal line carries and scoring those short touchdowns. I think
Mm-hmm.
Carr and Adams are going to figure it out eventually, and I mean, there's hardly a bigger red zone threat in the NFL than Davante Adams.
Really quick, I'll do this as we talk about other stuff. I kind of want to look and see what the Raiders have been doing in the red zone.
Yeah.
Just see if McDaniels has changed up the Patriots stuff. Is there any other running backs you want to talk about while I bring this up?
I mean, we said the last couple of shows. It might be getting time to sell high on Antonio Gibson. You know, he's not doing much in the yardage game, but he's scoring touchdowns, so that's got to, intrigue someone. I've been high on Clyde all week. I don't love him this week, obviously, with the Tampa Bay matchup. I think Patrick Mahomes may be under duress a lot that game. And other than that, I mean, what was it? 2 years ago, Zach, you fell into the Cam Akers trap. Last year, Trevor fell into the Cam Akers trap. This year, I fell into the Cam Akers trap. Is this what we can expect from the Rams running backs? Kind of this Cam Akers, like probably 80-yard performance?
Yeah. I think, again, it goes back to what we said immediately after week one. Like, Cam Akers is a poor pass protector, and in games where the Rams are going to see a strong pass rush, I think I would be off of him a little bit more. And this week they play the 49ers, so I think it's probably more a Darrell Henderson week for the Rams. But I think they're going to take a high hand approach. Otherwise, it's a little weird that they continue to, like, McVay really likes to run Darrell Henderson near the goal line and in short yardage situations. I don't get it.
Yeah.
If Cam Akers could at least take over that role, then I think that would be good for him to be a flex RB2. Pro Football Focus isn't working, by the way, so can't bring up red zone.
I also think the running back, obviously, I think the running back to have in Jacksonville is James Robinson.
Yeah. He looks really good, by the way, coming back from that Achilles tear.
He's busting off 50-yarders like nothing. It's like prime Todd Gurley, man.
It's insane. It makes no sense, but good for him. Anton, I want to move off of Russ as well, but do you think Russ and Carter is too much for Tua?
No.
I don't think it's too much. I'm nervous about that Tua injury, though.
I'd rather get a Kirk Cousins than a Tua, I think.
Yeah, I think so, too. I think it's going to be too... I'm not sure if there's enough time for you to pull off that trade before Tua plays tomorrow night anyways. So I think maybe watch and see what Tua looks like and stuff. And if he looks normal and fine, then I think that's a cool trade to do.
What do you think about Stafford?
I would do Carter and Russ for Stafford. Again, there's kind of that inconsistency there. I'd probably shoot for someone like... Bringing up my rankings here. Tua. What if you did? How low do you think the Justin Herbert owners view him?
I don't think low at all.
No,
I don't think so. Right?
I don't know.
I don't know. There's this really weird group of NFL fans who are like Justin Herbert fans, and they get him on their fantasy team. They get. People who have Justin Herbert on their fantasy team, they fucking love Justin Herbert in real life.
True.
Which is it's kind of hard to not like Justin Herbert as a football player, but you get my point here. I think he's the next big quarterback, next big pocket quarterback, whatever. One injury, yada yada. I think people view him like they view like a Patrick Mahomes or a Josh Allen, and I don't know that changes.
I agree. However, if he struggles this week against the Texans, obviously still dealing with rib stuff, this is the perfect kind of matchup to buy low on him after if he's not the guy. Because he looked bad last week, looked in pain, the offense was terrible. And then if you come out and lay another egg and it's against the Texans, then I think people will hit the panic button.
That's
and
fair.
I would be willing to buy him after that for sure.
Of course. Right.
J2 Nice need to start need 2 to start this weekend. Najee Harris, Cordell Patterson, James Conner, Jamal Williams, and James Robinson. I'm going Jamal Williams and Cordell Patterson.
I'm going Cordell Patterson, Najee Harris. I can't give up on Najee Harris. I've been on him all offseason.
For comparison, let's see where I have Najee ranked. Fuck. I'm going to have to change it. I have Najee ranked 9, Jamal 10, Cordell 11.
There's your RB1, 2, and flex right there.
If you can do it, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Otherwise, out of principle now, since we are on the internet and it'll live here forever, I have to move Najee Harris out of my top 10. So expect that change coming. Really quick, wide receivers, Cooper Kupp is 1 at the 49ers, Stephon Diggs 2 at the Ravens, Justin Jefferson 3 at the Saints, Devontae Adams 4 versus the Broncos, and Mike Evans 5 versus the Chiefs. How do you feel about them?
Stephon Diggs is a stud, right? He's a great NFL receiver. Mm-hmm. Him and Josh Allen have an awesome connection that I think will last for quite a few years yet. Mike Evans is really interesting this week. I think if Brady can get locked in on a guy, he wants to do it and, funnel targets that way. Mike Evans coming back, Buccaneers offense, laying an egg last week. I'm all in on Mike Evans this week. I think, this could be a 15 to 20, maybe even a 20 target game for Mike Evans.
Yeah, I completely agree. I like that a lot. Shout out to the 33rd team using their free stats right now. They have a really good website, by the way. If anyone wants to check out really good football content, the 33rdteam.com is awesome. I'm looking at Red Zone, our rushing leaders right now. And by the way, Red Zone rushing leaders, Jamal Williams has the most fantasy points there.
Bingo.
Joe Mixon has the most snaps in the red zone amongst these rushers.
He's always up there, right? He gets tons of red zone snaps.
Here's Joe Mixon. This is the reason why Joe Mixon is fucking frustrating as hell right now. He has 9 red zone carries for 12 yards, 0 touchdowns.
Ouch.
That's so bad. Antonio Gibson, by the way, for all my Antonio Gibson truthers, he has 7 carries in the red zone for -2 yards, which is pretty good. that's only -0.3 yards per carry.
How hard is it to get a yard?
Pretty hard. Where's Josh Jacobs? Nowhere. Oh, he's 5th in red zone carries, 9 for 24, no touchdowns. He really struggled to finish drives in the end zone last year, I remember. I don't think he was very efficient in the red zone. He just got enough carries where he got it in. So the fact that he is tied for essentially like the 4th most red zone carries in the league, if you want to count it that way. There's a lot of people with 11, I guess. But I think he's going to be okay.
Yeah, like his opportunities are there and they're not going anywhere.
Right. Who do you think is the tied for the most yards per carry in the red zone?
Yards per carry in the red zone.
And I'll give you the hint that these 2 running backs each only have 2 carries in the red zone.
I don't even know. McCaffrey?
No. One is a stud. One was a stud maybe 20 years ago.
Todd Gurley. No, he's not. He's taken a snap in years.
Close.
I don't even know.
DeAndre Swift and Mark Ingram.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. 2 for 14 and a touchdown.
Good for Mark Ingram, man. Great NFL player.
For real. And he's got a few years left, I think.
Mm-hmm. Great football career. Got the Heisman too, right? Yeah.
J2 Nice says Amon-Ra St. Brown at his flex. Would you start one of those 3 running backs above Amon-Ra if Amon-Ra is active?
What did Amon-Ra do last game?
I don't think he was fine, not great. He left with an ankle injury.
He didn't get his 8 receptions.
I don't
because
believe so.
When Amon-Ra St. Brown is playing, it's like he's getting Antonio Brown territory where he's just getting funneled targets every single play. I think I like Amon-Ra St. Brown if we're doing on the same team, I like him better than Jamal Williams, I think, this week.
And I would sit him personally. I'm not 100% sure he plays.
That's fair.
You might get that decision, decided for you. Compared to the consensus, I am 7 spots higher on Mike Evans, who I have at 5, 7 higher on CeeDee Lamb at 7, 4 higher on Amari Cooper at 18, and Rashad Bateman at 24, 7 higher on Allen Robinson at 36, 4 higher on Treylon Burks at 38, 4 higher on Darnell Mooney at 47. I think they make it a point to get him a little bit more involved this week. Other players who don't really matter. I'm 4 spots lower on Jamar Chase at 8, 4 lower on AJ Brown at 12, Marquise Brown at 21, Devontae Smith at 31, and DJ Moore at 37. I kind of want to move DJ Moore even further down.
He's like not even a part of the offense.
No, he's just a decoy.
He's getting the Odell treatment from Baker.
For real. Here's someone. Do you think Chase Claypool is droppable?
I want, my heart says yes, right? Because we're George Pickens guys. But like Chase Claypool's involved in this offense. I don't know that the offense is very good. I think when the offense starts becoming good, I think George Pickens gets more involved. So I think, I think I'm dropping Chase Claypool.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I am 11 spots lower on him this week, though.
I think Chase Claypool can actually be used for trade bait just on name alone. Like if you need an extra piece to swing a trade, I think Chase Claypool is like the perfect guy for that.
Agreed, and apparently the consensus is higher on him than us. The consensus has him at 48. I have him at 59. His finishes in fantasy this year are 51, 74, and 60. 6 targets in all 3 games. Receptions of 4, 4, and 3. Yards of 18, 26, and 35. Like, just nothing. And, a quarterback change isn't going to change anything because I think it's the offensive coordinator.
Yep.
And the offensive line. I don't know. I've never been a Chase Claypool guy anyway, so maybe I'm a little bit biased, but again, I wouldn't drop him because to your point, I think you can trade him.
Yeah. I think there's not a lot, but I think there is value.
Package deal.
There's value in Chase Claypool's name.
I agree.
Tight end. I actually had a quick receiver that we can bring up because I'm sure we'll talk about him on our next show. But
perfect.
Against Tampa Bay, Romeo Doubs, like those plays, he had 8 receptions or whatever it was. Those plays he ran looked exactly like plays they'd run to Devontae Adams.
A lot of them, yeah. They were making it a point to get it basically the most athletic guy the ball.
Yeah. And I think that might continue.
I think so too. And I think a big reason why it continues is because of Allen Lazard, who was the best player on the field last game, to be completely honest. He is such a good blocker. Like every play to Romeo Doubs had Allen Lazard blocking ahead of him. And he looked good. And I like Doubs. I'm not as high on him yet because I'm kind of projecting other people to play this week. Where do I have him ranked, though?
You had Doubs at 44?
44. It's higher than I thought I put him, actually. But yeah, he was wide receiver 12.5 PPR last week. To your point, I think it continues. I think it needs to continue. I think he's clearly the rookie to own out of the receivers, which we said, obviously, weeks ago. But yeah.
Yeah, I think on a couple of shows last week I said that Packers receivers don't really have value until, you kind of see something. And I think this might be the opportunity that you see something from Romeo Doubs this last game.
Yeah, he's worth an ad. He's worth an ad over someone who hasn't, I would for sure drop Chase Claypool for Romeo Doubs.
Would you drop Russell Gage for him?
Yes. I would probably, and I picked this guy up a lot this week, so everyone's already dropping him anyways. I would probably drop Darnell Mooney for him.
Okay.
Who everyone's out on, and rightfully so. We wrote an article a couple weeks ago about Darnell Mooney's been terrible with Justin Fields. So that's probably going to continue.
I got one more for you. What about Robert Woods?
I think so. I think I would. I like the potential of Dobbs more than the reality of Robert Woods.
Agreed.
Yeah. Tight end, half PPR, Mark Andrews 1, Travis Kelsey 2. Get that out of the way. And then it's Darren Waller 3 versus the Broncos, Dallas Goedert 4 versus the Jags, and I have George Kittle at 5 versus the Rams. It's a Monday night game. Just a gut feeling. I feel like this could be a massive George Kittle game. So it makes me want to raise him up a little bit. But what do you think of those 5 tight ends as they are now?
George Kittle's a pretty good. He's a good, primetime late standalone game player. So I agree with that. Mark Andrews is going to be my prize pick. I'm very high on him this week. And it feels like if Tampa can take away that run game against Kansas City, it feels like Travis Kelsey, like he should be the number 1 receiving target. I know they have those athletic safeties and linebackers, but I think Travis Kelsey is just too good to not, to catch less than 5 passes a game.
And after listening, I listened to the newest podcast of him, New Heights, with him and his brother for this week. He is pretty fucking pissed off at the drops he had last week. He feels like he basically lost them the game. You could tell it from, his eyes more than anything. I think he makes it a point to demand the ball this week and to put the team on his back and to prove his worth, essentially. He definitely seems like he is a guy who wants to prove to his teammates, like earn that trust back from his teammates, even though it's not actually lost because he's fucking Travis Kelsey. But he's that kind of guy.
Yeah, if he needs to put the team on his back, he can. We saw it against Buffalo in the playoffs last year.
Yep. I currently have Dalton Schultz ranked. By the way, I have him at 9. Consensus has him at 20. Obviously, that's just because some people are hedging their bets. I have Logan Thomas at 15, which is 4 higher. Isaiah Likely at 25, which is 4 higher. And Foster Moreau at 26, which is 8 higher. He very clearly has a role in this team. I'm lower on Evan Ingram at 20, 5 spots lower. I'm 7 spots lower on Cole Kmet at 29, 4 lower on Austin Hooper at 31, and then 6 lower on Cameron Brate at 32. Not sure why people decided to start ranking Cameron Brate, but whatever. Any of those guys stick out?
Well, we're also at the point in fantasy football, right, where Will Dissly is actually a name that you're asking if you should pick him up, right?
Yeah.
He's scoring touchdowns, man. There's no denying that. Like, Geno Smith is looking to Will Dissly.
Yeah, clearly they think that's a mismatch that they have. Obviously, I would assume most teams, when the Seahawks get into the red zone, they are saying, where is DK Metcalf? Let's make sure we have 2 guys on him. And I guess it takes the attention away from the guy with the next biggest body, which is Will Dissly, the former defensive lineman who somehow is a tight end now.
I think I like Will Dissly. I think moving forward, I like it. If you're in a spot where you're debating dropping a tight end, you don't have a Kelsey or an Andrews or a top tier guy. Maybe you're hanging around like a David Njoku or Gerald Everett or maybe even a Tyler Conklin. I think you can drop him, and I think Will Dissly gets you as much as they would get you.
I don't know how much stock I want to put into him for a season-long league.
Ooh,
I haven't looked at his pricing. Maybe. I mean, targets of 3, 2, and 3. I just feel like if he doesn't get that touchdown, you're fucked. This week, I like him and could raise him up higher because he plays Detroit, and I think Seahawks are going to move the ball and they're going to get red zone snaps. I haven't looked at his pricing on DFS though, but he is one of those guys who I really like in DFS because I would assume he's pretty low, so you can save money there, and all he needs is a touchdown, which he's been getting. Yeah. What's your thoughts? Again, is he droppable? Hunter Henry.
Droppable. Lock it in.
I agree.
I've been riding this Hunter Henry train for like the last 6 years, and I refuse to drop him. And I know, as soon as you drop him, he's going to go off. I don't think that's the case anymore. I think I'm off of the Hunter Henry train.
Like last year, he did something, though. He's done absolutely nothing this year. It's been weird.
And he's healthy, too.
Right. Yeah. This is the time where he should be good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would drop Hunter Henry. I am more than willing to drop Mike Gesicki. I said that after week 1. He followed that up with a good week 2 performance, but still didn't play that many snaps. The Dolphins franchise tagged him to decide to keep him on the sideline. It makes no sense, but that's the reality. Like, they want to run the ball. They want to run everything off of play action, and they'd rather have a blocking tight end in there than Mike Gesicki. So, for sure, willing to drop him.
I also think that Irv Smith sucks.
I'm not in on the hype on him. I think he's an okay player. Here's who I think he is. I think he's Evan Engram.
Okay. I don't hate it.
Like, is he?
My whole thing with Irv Smith is maybe he sucks for fantasy is what I mean. Not that he sucks as a person or football player or whatever. But like, he's not getting that many opportunities, right? Because of that loaded offense. And when he's getting those opportunities, he's got to be at least 3-4 drops this year. Like, he's not taking advantage of these opportunities. Does that change moving forward? I don't know, but I'm not loving what I'm seeing right now from the minimal role that Irv Smith has in this passing attack.
I'll push back a little bit because he has 8 targets in week 2 and 6 targets in week 3. So he actually had a role and he still wasn't that good. So, and those were 2, obviously, games where it was very much pass heavy. Eagles, they were getting blown out, and they were trailing the Lions the entire time. Another bad defense.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the touchdown saved him in week 2. 5 receptions, 36 yards. Touchdown is good enough for tight end 3, which is kind of stupid. But yeah, this week, New Orleans, I don't love him. He gets to play Chicago, Miami after that. Like, he has some okay matchups, but do you think he's going to get 6 and 8 targets? I think that's a lot to ask.
No. And what did he have? He had 8 targets last game, right? Because there's
6 last game.
6 last game, and we didn't see a great game from Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson wasn't very involved. When he's involved, what was that 6 targets go down to 1?
Right. And I mean, Adam Thielen finally had an okay game. Adam Thielen should be way more involved. Like, if the offense, if they really have a big offensive meeting, like, we need to get right, we need to get these specific players more involved. It's not going to be Irv Smith. It's going to be the running game, and it's going to be Adam Thielen.
Yes.
What did Thielen do last week? He
scored.
He did. I know, finally. 8 targets, 6 receptions, 61 yards, touchdown, season high across the board. So, yeah. That was pretty much game from Thielen. Okay, so every single week we give our guarantee, we give a pick. We do it from Prize Picks, which is a DFS site that lets you pick over or under player props, string them together into a parlay, make a bunch of money, up to 10 times your money on just 4 picks together. We've been doing really well. Obviously, the Colts screwed Luke last week. I had Kyle Pitts over in yards, and that hit in the first quarter. But I think overall in the season, including Trevor, we are 6-3, which is good. Link in the description for Prize Picks. If you're watching on YouTube, that will get you a 100% deposit match up to $100. And you can play this in any state where DFS is legal. So you can play these player props in a non-sports betting state like us in Wisconsin. We're good. We can play these. And I said my pick earlier in the show. I will do it again. My pick is Cordell Patterson over 43.5 rushing yards. I'm sick of the disrespect. Cordell Patterson's a running back. He's always been a running back, even before he knew it. His worst game of the season, he ran for 41 yards. The other 2 games, he ran for over 100 yards. Against the Browns this week, I'm not afraid of Cordell Patterson not going under. I'm not afraid of the Browns defense, especially if they don't have Myles Garrett. And I like the Falcons' offensive line right now. They're actually playing really well. It's not a fluke. So I think Cordell Patterson probably goes for like 60 to 80 yards.
Yep.
What's your pick?
I agree. I said Mark Andrews is my guy this week. He's at 64.5 on Prize Picks. With Micah Hyde being out and Jordan Poyer maybe being hobbled, I think I love Mark Andrews this week, especially if the pass rush gets there. Like, Lamar is throwing bombs up to Mark Andrews and double, triple coverage that Mark Andrews comes down with. So I'm in on that. I also, I guess I'll make Trevor's pick for him here. I also liked Kirk Cousins over 3.5 rushing yards.
Yeah. What has he gotten the past few weeks? Kirk Cousins stats. Okay. He has gotten 0. He didn't attempt to rush week 1. Week 2, he had 2 carries for 20 yards. And then last week, he just had the kneel down. So when he does get out there, he's doing well. And the Vikings play the Saints. So, yeah, I don't mind it.
Yeah, and
Kirk's got to put on the show for the lads across the pond, you know?
I also don't think that they're ever going to be in a position where Minnesota's going to be winning enough that they're going to kneel the ball this game.
Yeah, probably not. Probably not. I like that.
So that makes me think that Kirk might pick up like 10 yards on a 3rd and long or something with his legs.
I agree. I don't mind. The other one I was kind of looking at was Damien Pierce over 59.5 rushing yards against the Chargers as well. The Texans really, really like Damien Pierce. It's pretty much the only thing they like about their team right now.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go out on this question here. Start 2 full PPR, Scary Terry, Tyler Lockett, Mike Williams, Gabriel Davis. Let's reference my rankings.
Yes, I have to see who they play.
I for sure want Gabe Davis. And then...
Is Gabe Davis a lock in lineups?
This week he is against the Ravens, who have a lot of mental errors on defense.
So Gabe Davis is not matchup proof or anything.
I don't think he's matchup proof, but I do like him, and I really like him on teams that have a really good starting or a really good cornerback 1 and maybe some mistakes elsewhere. I like him, and I would probably go Mike Williams against the Texans. Like the Chargers should be good this week.
Yeah. We say every year that the Chargers should be good, and they're just not.
I know.
Yeah, I think that's the right move, though. Mike Williams and Gabe Davis, I like it.
The other one was Tyler Lockett. Yeah, I have McLaurin and Lockett ranked like nearly 10 spots lower than the other guys, so it's a pretty clear 2 for me. But yeah, this was our Fantasy Football Ranking Show. Thank you for all the questions that were asked. I've been thinking about adding another show where I answer fantasy questions that are submitted through the comments. So if you do have any other fantasy football questions, start sit, trade stuff, anything at all, go to this video, this live streamed video on youtube.com/Flurry Sports if you're on somewhere else right now. And you can just leave questions in the comments and you may be featured in another video, or at the very least, we'll respond to your questions in the comments. So do that. And Luke and I will be back pretty soon with a Lombardi Sweep, our Packers podcast. And really quick, Herbert might be limited. He passed for the most passing attempts in the league last week, I think. So,
no, Herbert will never make himself limited.
No. And also Mike Williams needs 1 catch to pay off. So that's why I like him. But yeah, we'll be back in a second with Lombardi Sweep, talking Green Bay Packers and giving you fantasy nuggets about the Packers for this week against the Patriots as well. See ya.
Peace.